guys, this exercise is going to guide you through the basic steps of your final project. Most of the detail can be found in the week 8 reading and from the expert, and then the supplemental attachments that I provided for you. So first thing, get into Cloudera and open up your terminal. In step 1.1, I have a few folders that you guys will need to make initially. So let's start by doing that. Okay, and since I already have my directory created, I'm going to receive this error. Go through all the files in step 1.1 and make those. And then next thing you need to do is download the data set. So let's open up our browser within Cloudera. And let's navigate to the Movie Lens website and download those files. Okay, so this is what it will look like, and this is what you need to download. Okay, so go ahead and download that if you have not already. Let's move on to step 1.2 in your attachment. So let's go ahead and prepare to store the data into the HDFS file system. So we're going to create directories for it. And I'm only going to do a couple of these since I already have mine created. I just want to show you what it's going to look like and what to expect. And some of these commands take a while, so don't get nervous. Okay, so if you see that, that's good, and you can go ahead and move on to the next step. So let's just do another one really quick. Of course, you need to make all of yours. Okay, and it says my file exists. Okay, so go ahead and do that for users, movies, and ratings. Okay, let's move on to the next step. There's a couple of tips in there. If the first command doesn't work, you might have to go into sudo. Okay, step 1.3. Let's put our data into the HDFS. Okay, so let's make sure that we have our data there. So here's my M1 ML-1M folder that I created. You can see I have the files that I downloaded in there. So if you just want to take a peek. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to step 1.3. I'm going to move the user's data file. Make sure everything's spelled correctly. It is very picky about the spaces, so just make a note of that. Okay, and mine already exists, so go ahead and do that for users, movie, and rating. And then once you've done that, let's go to step 1.4 and confirm that our data is there. Okay, so you could see if you get an output like this, you could see your files, and that is correct. Now you could go ahead and move on to step 1.5. Again, more details are found from the reading expert, so make sure that you read those instructions initially before moving on to this part. Okay, so step 1.5 of the attachment for you guys. Okay, so again, I have file exist. Okay, there are other commands, and from the expert, step 1.6 tells you to go back and look at that. You could do head and tail and examine your data a few different ways. Okay, after you've done that, you can go ahead and move on to step 2, and this is pre-processing the data using Python. So we're going to run the data file cleaning scripts. So first thing, let's go into our scripts folder. So we're going to change directories. Right now you can see this is my location. After our next command, I'm going to be in my scripts folder. Okay, so now you can see that is different. All right, so let's move ahead. Let's do the map reduce. And these sometimes take a while. And I have had students where it freezes, and if it does that, you're unfortunately going to have to close out of everything and start over. Or if you started early, you can just be very patient and wait. I had one girl last term who it just got stuck, and she just went to bed, and the next morning it was complete. So sometimes it takes a while, so don't panic. Okay, so that one went pretty quickly. Okay, so you're going to want to do that for the users, the movies, and ratings, and this is what your output should look like. Okay, so I'm going to move on to step 3, and I'm going to create the Hive tables. So let's go ahead and type our first command. So Hive create users table HQL. And again, this sometimes, depending on your setup, how much memory you have allocated, it can take quite a while. So don't panic. Okay, so go ahead and do that for your users, movies, and ratings. And I'm going to skip those last two since I've already done those. Okay, make sure you do all 3 of those. So I'm going to move ahead to step 3.2. And we're going to take a look at our data file fields. Okay, so here you can see the fields that you have. You have the ID, gender, age, occupation, and zip code. Okay, so this is the part where I want you to perform a couple of queries. So let's go ahead and step 3.3, let's determine the number of ratings. So Hive E and we're going to perform a count. Okay, and I'm going to cut this off here and start again. Okay, there we go. All right, so next thing, we're going to go to step 3.4, and we're going to prompt Hive. And there's your result. Sorry about that. Okay, so step 3.4, let's go ahead and prompt Hive. So type Hive. Okay, now you can see that you're in Hive. So let's go ahead and run a few queries here. So let's count the number of female users. So this is our number of female users. Again, you can change it to male. Let's see, what did I do wrong? I spelled from wrong. Okay, much better. Okay, so you could see that the total number of female users is 1,709. And there are, in step 3.4, there are a few more queries. At the very minimum, run users where the age is less than 35, the top 3 users, and the occupation from users by group. And then I want you in step 3.5 to try and come up with a unique one of your own. So once you've done that, you could go ahead and quit Hive and type command quit, capital Q, and then semicolon. Okay, now you've returned to your folder. Okay, so step 4, you're going to build the basic recommender system using Mahout. So this is where you might get an error and where you're going to have to go in and change your jar files. So I provided for you an example of what the error is going to look like. You're going to, in most cases, you're going to type the command and you're going to get an error right here. And I provided a sample of that error for you. So this one, since I already corrected it, it's running just fine. So let's go ahead, and while that's running, I'm going to show you how you need to fix your error. So first thing you're going to have to do is go to your jars folder, and you're going to have to find your Hadoop streaming. So here is mine. You'll notice it's pretty far down, so just scroll down. Don't panic if you don't see it at first. So notice how this is called and labeled. So next thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go and search for that file and manually change it. Okay, so let me open this up.